Hello everyone and welcome to a new lecture. In this video we're going to talk about exponential functions. So what are exponential functions? Well, basically so far we have talked about functions that are like that. So for example f of x equaling to x plus 1. Okay, this was an example of the functions that we have talked about. If we have a function with power, so for example if we have f of x equaling to x to the 2 plus 3x minus 5, okay, we had powers, we had variables, we had constants, and so forth. Okay, so what I want to emphasize is when we had powers, we had the power to be on a variable. Okay, so this was the power, and sometimes it's called the degree, okay, of this term. And if it is the highest degree, it is the degree of the whole polynomial. And we had the variable, in this case x, to be the base of the power. So this is the base. Okay, so we had the variable to be the base and we had a number to be the power. Okay, that's what we have seen so far. So what happens if I change this? Meaning, what happens if I have the base to be a number and then the power to be a variable? Okay, so what happens if I have something like that? F of x equaling 2, so the base to be a number, so like 2, and then the power to be a variable like x. Okay, well, this is called an exponential function. Okay, so if you have a base that is a number and then it is raised to a power that is a variable, then that function is called a exponential function. Okay, so what is the definition of an exponential function? Well, basically an exponential function is a function on the form of f of x equaling to a to the x such that a is greater than 0 and a does not equal to 1. Okay, that is the definition of an exponential function. And let's not forget, x is defined, so x is a member in the real numbers. So any real number can be the power of an exponential function. Okay, so to give you an example, suppose I have this. Suppose I have f of x equaling to 3 to the x. Okay, I can evaluate any real number I want into this exponential function. So for example, if I evaluate 3, it will be f of 3 equaling to 3 to the 3. I can evaluate a number that is less than 1. So f of 0.5 equals to 3 to the raised to a power of 0.5. Okay, I can evaluate pi, for example. So f of pi basically equals to 3 to the pi. Okay, I can evaluate a square root. So f of the square root of 2 basically equals to 3 raised to a power of the square root of 2. Okay, so I can put any real number I want on my base. Okay, since my base is raised to a power that is a variable, therefore I can change it to any real number that I want. Okay, so all these that I get, so f of x equaling to 3 to the x and 3 to the 3, 3 to the 0.5, all these are values. Okay, so 3 to the 3 is 27. 3 raised to a power of 0.5 is around 1.73, and so forth. So you can find what is the 3 raised to a power of square root, okay? What is 3 raised to a power of pi? You can change your base, okay? So here, base is 3, equals to 3. If I have this, f of x equaling to 100 raised to a power of x, then the base here would be 100. Okay, so that is basically what an exponential function is. And with this, we come to the end of this lecture.